Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I am finally starting a new series that I have been hinting at since the end of last season, and it is basically just reviewing the Premier League match week. And before we get into it, a couple of things. Lack of uploads. My computer broke a few days after my last upload, so I couldn't make thumbnails, which obviously is a big part. I don't like to not use a thumbnail like I used to. But it was my birthday yesterday and I got a new laptop so I can make thumbnails again, so I'm glad to be uploading again. Also, normally I would do a separate video with a more analysis into Liverpool's game, and normally I will do that, but I have another video that I'm planning to release tomorrow or on Wednesday, and I don't want to overload the channel with videos. And lastly, before we get into it, nothing to do with the video, but if you look in this clip here that in the gameplay I'm playing in the background, just watch Konate's performances if you want to, because he excelled in this game. Anyway, let's get into it. So, first game of the game week was Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United. Two teams that will most likely be fighting for relegation when it comes to the middle and end of the season. Forest did get off to a quick start though, with scoring in the 3rd minute by Awanji. And then, to respect Sheffield United, they did respond just after half time with their new signing Gustav Hammer. But then, sadly for Sheffield United fans, their hearts were broken in the 89th minute by Chris Wood, who just managed to get a goal there. If you look, the stats are interesting here, because Forest dominated shots, but Sheffield United actually had more of the possession. So yeah, it was a battle of the bottom of the table teams here. Forest just about came out on top. There was some... I feel like Sheffield United have shown that they can compete in a way, because obviously they did score a goal. It's not like they were completely useless, but I don't think it's going to end well for them. I think bringing in Turner from Nottingham Forest was a really good move, because he was probably the best number 2 in the league when he was at Arsenal. He's the first choice keeper for the USA, so yeah. Next up we have the first of the 3 o'clock games, because there wasn't a 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, which is the game between Liverpool and Bournemouth. Now, for the first 15 minutes of this game, Liverpool were absolutely horrendous. Alisson held onto the ball. Yeah, Alisson held onto the ball. He gave it away. Luckily, that goal was offside. But then we lost the ball again, and Anton Semenyo managed to score. After that, for another 10 minutes, we were horrendous. But then we kind of got ahead into the game, and Luis Diaz in the 28th minute with an absolutely wonderful improvised finish. He flicks it up and then gets into the back of net. Only stuff that Luis Diaz and Messi, those kind of people, can do. And then Mo Salah and Diogo Jota also scored to confirm the win. But that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about with the Liverpool game is Alexis Mac Allister. Now, Mac Allister had a great game before he got sent off. But the fact that he got sent off was absolute bullshit. Like that, he barely scraped his ankle. It was not full studs up, and multiple referees, former referees or just lower division referees, who I actually think are better than Premier League referees, have come out and say that it's not a red, and it's ridiculous, because now we are putting in an appeal in, but seeing how the referees are, the PGMO or whatever, I doubt they're going to overturn it. So we're going to be missing a crucial player for our visit to Newcastle next week, which means that after we finally got a 6, we're probably going to have to play Gakpo in midfield again against Newcastle, which Gakpo's a great player, but he's not a midfielder. Which is another point I want to make. We finally bought a 6 in Endo. When he came on off the bench, I think he looked pretty steady, did his job. You don't ask for goals or assists from a 6. I mean, if they can do that, that's great, but first and foremost, their job is to defend, and especially when we were down to 10 men, he did very good at shielding Van Dijk and Konate. If you look at the stats, we dominated shots and eventually possession, but there was a lot of fouls in this game. Obviously that red card, but it seems referees have gotten a whole lot more strict now. But like Alisson also got a yellow card in that game. Both Bournemouth wingers also got one. Neto got one. It's just, yeah, way more strict. But it's a good first 3 points on the board, and hopefully we can continue on from it next week and manage to get the 3 points against Newcastle. Okay, the second of the 3 p.m. fixtures is Wolves 1, Brighton 4. Fair play to Brighton here. They were absolutely incredible. And they're actually sitting at the top of the league right now, having won 2 games, 4-1, first against Luton. Now Wolves, Matoma started it with an absolutely great kind of solo run, then Espinyan and Solimat scored 2 goals in 4 minutes. Hang Wei Chan did manage to get a goal back, but it obviously wasn't enough, and Mateus Nunes got sent off right at the end. Another red card here. But yeah, utter dominance from Brighton, and I do think Wolves are going down this season, so it makes sense to me that they're getting destroyed like this. A lot of people are saying Brighton are going to fall back down to kind of like the 9-10 place, but I still think they're going to be able to compete even with the Europa League. If you look at the stats, it was actually pretty even. Both had 16 shots. Possession was about 50-50. So yeah, in the stats it was a very even game, but if you see it here, it was definitely not even. And I think Brighton could go on a top 4 challenge this season, to be honest. Okay, the last one of the 3 p.m. games, we have Fulham 0, Brentford 3. I feel like I'm one of the only people who thought that Brentford would be fine without Tony for a few months. I didn't think they would be incredible without Tony, but I thought they'd be able to survive well enough, and then when Tony came back, they would secure another top 10 finish. But they seem to be doing just fine by himself, with Wissa scoring 1 and Buemo scoring 2. Those 2 are obviously the ones that Brentford will rely on for their goals now. And Tim Ream getting sent off for a second yellow card offence by bringing down the penalty, which is 3 red cards in the space of 1 match day, which is just insane. What I've been saying about the strict rules. In terms of the stats, 17-10 for Brentford, but Fulham actually did have more possession. And yeah, it was actually a low card game, to be honest. There was only 5 cards in the whole game, but one of them still managed to be red. But Brentford are in 3rd place right now. They're doing well without Tony, which actually kind of scares me about what's going to happen when Tony comes back. But we'll see. But it's been a good start to the season for Brentford, and we will see if they can continue their form. Now, we have the 5:30 kickoff here now, which is Spurs versus United. Spurs easily beating Man United. I didn't watch the game fully, but I saw quite a bit of it, and Sarr with his first goal, I don't know how Martinez ended up putting that in his own net. The first time I saw it, I was like, is that even an own goal? He gets the minimalistic soft touches, but I still don't know how he manages that. I underestimated Andrew Kloster. I can't say his name. I underestimated Ange. I really thought Spurs were going to have a horrific season, but they had a draw to Brentford, which, as we just reviewed, they've had a good game, and now they've destroyed United. So I think they're going to have a better season than I originally thought. Man United actually did have more shots, but they both had the same amount of shots on target. Possession was mainly dominated by Spurs, and again a low card game, but one of only 2 games that didn't have a red card on Saturday. Tottenham currently sitting 5th in the table. quite a good performance, and Man U finished sitting 12th. Yeah, it was a great performance from Spurs, and Man United might be in for another banter season here. Next up, we have the last game on Saturday. Man City 1, Newcastle 0. I watched this game in its entirety. I really think Newcastle put everything into it, but when it's Man City, there's not a lot you can do unless you're Liverpool or, like, I guess United, because they did it last season. You can't really manage to beat City because it is just Man City. I think we saw the effects of Haaland without De Bruyne, because even though they did do really well to subdue Haaland, there wasn't the passing into the players, into Haaland, that was so great. I mean, Foden was absolutely exceptional. I have long been not a fan of Foden, mainly for the England team, because I feel like he's never been great for England. But that was an absolutely sensational performance. I feel like he belongs in the middle of the pitch, but as all the pundits were saying, with the whole with David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, all of those being ahead of him, he never really got a chance. But while De Bruyne is out, this is his chance, and I'm scared about it. But I do hope that De Bruyne stays out until after we play Man City for the first time. In terms of stats, 14-7 for Man City in terms of shots, but only 4 shots on target for only 4 shots on target for City. Possession was more even than I thought, to be honest. 59-6, 41. Newcastle played more of a physical game, but it was a good performance. When you're Newcastle, only getting a 1-0 defeat against Man City, I'd say that's actually quite decent. Man City currently sitting second in the league, just behind Brighton, with Newcastle in the 7th place, just behind West Ham. Obviously, nothing's going to be concrete in the table. It takes until about November, December time for places to start getting like concrete in the table, and that's really just midfield from like 8th to like 13th, 14th. Relegation and European places normally goes on until the end of the season. But yeah, good performance from Newcastle, and I think they're still going to do a good challenge. But Man City is just Man City. Next up, we have the humiliation of Everton, which I, as a Liverpool fan, absolutely love. John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Leon Bailey, Johan Duran. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But Unai Emery's men really managed to bounce back after the humiliation from Newcastle the week before. It really just shows that the team you're playing really just can affect your performance, because Newcastle are a better team than Villa, but they realised that, they took it, they moved on, and then they went and humbled Everton, which leaves Everton bottom of the league, which is incredible. Hope they stay there. It was a pretty even game stats-wise until you get to possession, where they dominated it. It was a pretty physical game, but no reds. And Aston Villa are now sitting in 10th place, because obviously they did lose that first game pretty badly. But I think they're going to easily fight for Europa League again this season. And we also have Everton, like I said, bottom of the table, where they belong, and I hope they stay there. Lastly, we have the game from yesterday, Sunday's game on my birthday, and what a treat this was to. After I got home, I looked at the Premier League fixtures, and I saw that West Ham had beat Chelsea 3-1. Not only that Moises Caicedo had a terrible debut and given away a penalty, which, when seeing as he rejected us, was just incredible to me. I love that. Egard, Antonio, and Lucas Paqueta with the goals, with Carney Chukwuemeka scoring Chelsea's, but I'm pretty sure he went off injured as well, funnily enough. This is a game that Chelsea really should have been winning, so I really hope they're going into another banter era, even if it did have to start with them drawing against us. I hope they're going into another banter era, and I hope they get relegated. Stats wise, it was more shots for Chelsea, but less shots on target. Chelsea absolutely dominated possession, 76%, but West Ham took their chances, Chelsea did not. And yet, West Ham currently sitting in 6th place, Chelsea in 15th. Well done to West Ham. Obviously, a lot of people had West Ham down as relegation fodder for this season. So it's good that they're managing to beat a team like Chelsea. And okay, that's all the matches. But one last message: the red cards this week were absolutely insane. I mean, I know Matheus Nunes I actually didn't really see Matheus Nunes' card, but Tim Ream, I know he deserved it because he was already on a yellow and he took someone down in the box, gave away a penalty. But McAllister's was not a red card. I really hope the appeal gets accepted. And as for Matheus Nunes, I think I heard someone say it was kicking the ball away, which I'm not sure if it's true, but if it is, then that's ridiculous. And also this new rule about if you asked to give another player a card and you get a card is also just ridiculous. But there we go. We have officially gone through the entirety of game week 2 here. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Come back next week if you want to see the evaluation of game week 3, where hopefully I will be talking about how we destroyed Newcastle. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you all later. Bye guys.